A poor woman has twin daughters and abandons only one of them. Years later they meet, and this happens. Before the story begins, comment below which city you're watching the video from. We love getting to know our viewers. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more exciting stories. Enjoy the story and see you soon. It was a normal day at the park, but Clara never imagined that this outing would change her life forever. While gently swinging on one of the benches, watching the trees sway in the wind, she had no idea that, at that very moment, fate was plotting something that neither she nor her family could have predicted. There, among the bushes, something caught her attention. A girl, the same age, same hair color, same features, as if it were her own reflection in a mirror, but with one glaring difference. The girl's gaze had something mysterious about it, as if carrying secrets Clara could never imagine. Before Clara could get closer, a woman, apparently the girl's mother, appeared out of nowhere. Her eyes were wide open and her expression was one of pure panic. Without saying a word, she grabbed the girl forcefully and, in a swift motion, the two disappeared into the trees. Clara stood there, frozen, her heart racing. How was this possible? The girl, she seemed identical to her. Confused and curious, Clara looked around, trying to understand what had just happened, but there was no sign of the woman or the girl anymore. She ran to tell her father, but when she found the millionaire sitting in his favorite chair, his eyes fixed on his phone, all Clara received was a quick, emotionless response. "Don't worry about it, dear. It must have been a coincidence. Let's enjoy the day." But Clara wasn't convinced. Something wasn't right. Something inside her told her that this encounter wasn't just a coincidence. And it was with this uneasy feeling that she decided, without anyone knowing, to search for more answers about what was really going on. Who was that girl, and why did her mother seem to flee so desperately? She didn't know it yet, but at that moment, her life was about to turn upside down. Clara couldn't stop thinking about the girl at the park. Every time she closed her eyes, she imagined her face, identical to hers. Who was that girl? And why had her mother pulled her away so urgently? It wasn't normal, not for someone in her social class, where everything seemed to be under control. She had always known her life was special, protected, untouchable, but this encounter had shaken her certainty. That night, after dinner, Clara decided to confront her mother. She felt that something was wrong, something her parents were hiding from her, as if she were being kept in a bubble, unaware of the truth. She sat at the kitchen table, watching her mother wash the dishes, as if nothing had happened. The environment was the same as always, perfect, tidy, and cold. But to Clara, everything seemed different now. "Mom, I found a girl at the park today," Clara began, feeling the weight of the question, but not knowing how to express the unease she felt. She was just like me. Identical. Who is she?" Her mother stopped drying the dishes and slowly turned to face Clara. Her gaze, usually soft, was now hardened, as if caught off guard, but at the same time it was hard to hide something. Clara noticed the tension that filled the air, a tension she had never noticed before. "Clara, dear, you must have mistaken her. It couldn't have been her." Her mother's tone was too calm, almost like an attempt to soothe a child, but Clara felt a chill in her chest. Something wasn't right. "But Mom, she looked so much like me." And her mother ran away. "Why did this happen? What's going on, Mom?" The woman sighed, placing the dish towel on the table. There was a weight in her eyes, an internal struggle. Clara could feel the lie in the air, like a dense fog surrounding them. Her mother, usually so firm, now seemed vulnerable, as if about to succumb to something she feared. "Clara, there's something you need to know. Something your life has never let us reveal. You're not our biological daughter." The words hit Clara's heart like a bomb. She blinked, trying to understand what her mother had just said. She didn't know what to feel. Shock, confusion, pain. It was as if the ground had been ripped out from under her feet. "What?" Clara asked, barely able to form the words. "What do you mean?" Her mother took a long pause, breathing deeply, as if searching for the best way to tell the story she had feared revealing. "You were adopted, Clara. When you and your sister Anna were born, your biological mother couldn't take care of you both. She couldn't raise two daughters. So, in a moment of desperation, she had to make the decision to give you up for adoption, while your sister stayed with her." Clara's mind seemed to be in a whirlwind. She felt as if the world had turned upside down. A sister, a lost sister she never knew existed. And that girl in the park, the one she saw, could be Anna, her twin sister. But the question echoing in her mind was the only one. Why hadn't her biological mother looked for her? Her mother continued, trying to explain. "Your biological mother, she had a very hard time. And in the end, she stayed with Anna. She couldn't bear the idea of losing both of you. It was a very complicated situation, Clara. We couldn't have both of you. So the only option was to adopt you, for your own protection." The silence between them was long, but Clara could no longer hear what her mother was saying. She was trying to absorb the truth, but her mind was overwhelmed. A twin sister, a past she never imagined. And now, an urgent need to know more. With tear-filled eyes, Clara looked at her mother. "So, the girl from the park is my sister." Her mother hesitated but did not deny it. "I can't give you all the answers. But yes, Clara, the girl is your sister." She knew there was no longer any way to hide the truth. And she also knew that Clara was now trapped in a whirlwind of doubts that no one else could resolve. But that was just the beginning. Clara's desire to find her sister, Anna, was starting to take over her. What she didn't know was that by searching for Anna, she was about to embark on a journey that would forever change everything she believed she knew about her family. The night brought no rest to Clara. She tossed and turned in bed, her mind racing. The discovery that she had a sister, a twin sister, seemed like a distant, surreal dream. And worse, she didn't know how to react to it. Why had her biological mother left her? Why had her family never told her the truth? Why hadn't her sister, Anna, ever looked for her? Clara felt as if the entire universe had been turned upside down. For her whole life, she had believed her story was unique. The story of the adored girl cared for by a millionaire father with an impeccable life full of privileges. Now, everything seemed like a lie. The emptiness she felt about her past grew with every second. What else had her family been hiding from her? The next day, Clara decided to confront her mother again. Her mother's gaze, yesterday filled with guilt and hesitation, was still etched in her mind. Clara needed answers. She could no longer live in ignorance. "Mom, please tell me the truth. What else are you hiding from me?" Clara asked firmly, sitting at the breakfast table. She didn't want any more delays. She wanted to know everything, once and for all. Clara's mother hesitated, her fingers playing with the edge of her coffee cup. She seemed to be trying to find the right words, but Clara no longer had the patience for half explanations. Time was running out. "Mom, why didn't you tell me before? What happened to Anna? Where is she?" Her mother sighed, as if she had finally decided there was no more hiding. She lifted her eyes, now filled with deep sadness. "Clara, you need to understand that the situation was very difficult. When you and Anna were born, your biological mother, she couldn't take care of both of you. And for a reason I still don't fully understand, she had to make this choice, a desperate choice. I wanted to help, but the situation was too complicated." Clara was stunned. The pain and weight of her mother's words were too much to process. She didn't know if she felt more sadness for her biological mother's situation or for the lack of answers she herself had lived with for so long. "And where is she now?" Clara asked, almost in a whisper, the hope of finding her burning in her chest. Clara's mother hesitated, clearly uncomfortable. I don't know exactly. After a long time with no contact, I tried, but things got complicated. Your biological mother, she disappeared for a while, but Clara, you need to understand that it wasn't easy. I wanted more for you. That's why I adopted you, so that you could have a safe life, full of love, so that you would never know the pain your mother went through. Clara remained silent. It was too much information to process. Her biological mother had made a decision for her, a decision involving pain, loss, and possibly immense suffering. But Clara didn't know if her own mother knew everything that had happened to Anna, or if Anna had been left behind somewhere with no one to look for her. The silence between them stretched on for several minutes until Clara, with a firmer voice, interrupted the whirlwind of thoughts invading her mind. "So you're telling me that my sister is out there not knowing anything about me, not knowing anything about us, and no one did anything to look for her?" Clara's mother's expression became even more serious. She approached her daughter and touched her arm, trying to comfort her. "Clara, life isn't as simple as it seems. Sometimes decisions are made out of love, and other times out of necessity. What I know is that your sister had a difficult life. If you find her, she may not react the way you expect. She may be filled with hurt." Clara felt a tightness in her chest. What she didn't know was that when she finally found Anna, the answers she was looking for might be harder to accept than she imagined. But now, more than ever, Clara was determined to discover the truth. She didn't know what fate had in store for her, but the promise of finding Anna became a mission that consumed every thought she had. The longing for a sister she had never known, but who now felt as if she had already been a part of her life, only grew. As she left the house, Clara felt strange, as if she had undergone an irreversible transformation. She was no longer the same, and with every step, she knew that what she was about to discover about her family and her own history could change everything forever. Clara could no longer focus on anything. Enna's face, the sister she had never known existed, was in her mind all the time. She didn't know where to look for her or where to start, but something inside her told her that Anna's life wouldn't be simple, and maybe, just maybe, she was closer than she thought. Perhaps the park was only the first sign that fate was weaving a path for them to meet. The next day, Clara decided to go out. Without telling her parents, she went back to the park, where everything had started. Her heart raced with every step. She didn't know what she expected to find, but she couldn't give up. The park was quieter than usual, which made her feel strangely alone. She walked around the place, observing every detail with attentive eyes, as if any moment she might spot that girl. Those calm paths and bushes now seemed to hide something that Clara couldn't understand, but could somehow feel in her bones. It was when, near the old oak tree, she saw her. Anna. She was standing there, alone, as if waiting for something. Clara froze, her eyes wide open. The girl seemed the same, with brown hair tied simply, and the deep gaze Clara had noticed in the park the first time. She seemed so familiar, so distant, and at the same time so close. The air around them seemed to carry tension, an unspoken expectation. Clara didn't know what to do. She felt as if she were invading unknown territory. She knew this encounter would change everything, but she didn't know how. Anna looked at her. The look she gave her wasn't of surprise, but of recognition, as if she knew Clara was coming. You're Clara, aren't you?" Anna asked in a soft voice, but firm, as if she already knew the answer. It was as if their meeting had been inevitable. Clara swallowed hard, not knowing how to react. Anna's voice sent a chill down her spine. The feeling of déjà vu was inexplicable. "I'm Clara. And you, You're Anna, right? Anna gave a faint smile, but it was a sad smile, as if she were carrying a deep pain. Yes, I am. But I didn't know I had a sister. I didn't know you were looking for me. Clara took a step forward, her heart aching. She didn't know what to say. What could she say? How could she explain years of silence, absence, and secrets that had been kept for so long? My mom told me everything. About you, about us. I'm your sister. I didn't know anything, Anna. I didn't know you were here, that you were alive. Anna looked down at the ground, as if Clara's words had struck her deeply. The pain was visible on her face, but at the same time there was something else. Something Clara couldn't completely understand. I didn't want it to happen like this. I didn't want you to know about me, Anna said, her voice faltering at the end. I always knew something was wrong, but when you saw me, when you found me, this is harder than I imagined. Clara didn't know what to say. She felt a tightness in her chest, the anguish of not knowing how the other sister had lived all these years. The silence between them seemed to carry immense pain, as if it were an abyss too difficult to cross. It was an emotional distance so vast, built by time and circumstance, that Clara didn't know how to bridge it. Anna lifted her eyes, as if she had made a decision about something. I can't stay with you, Clara. I can't. But I'll help you. I'll help you find out everything that happened to us. I owe you that. Clara was left speechless. What did that mean? What was she supposed to do now? But before she could ask more, Anna abruptly turned and started walking away. Clara wanted to run after her, wanted to understand what was happening, but something stopped her, something she couldn't ignore. Anna was running away. Anna, wait! Don't leave me here! Clara shouted, but the other girl didn't stop. That was when Clara realized there was something more, something even more complicated behind this escape. Anna wasn't just running away from the lost sister, but from something bigger. Someone was behind this. Clara could feel it in the air, and unknowingly, she was already falling into a web of lies she couldn't escape. But one thing Clara knew for sure: she needed to find the truth. And no matter how difficult it was, she was willing to go all the way. Clara stood still, watching Anna walk away, her heart racing and her mind still confused. The image of her sister running from her, as if escaping from something far more dangerous than Clara could imagine, made her stomach twist. But at the same time, a growing sense of alertness surged inside her. What was happening to Anna? Why was she running like this? Determined to understand, Clara discreetly followed her down the park path. The distance between them grew, but Clara made an effort not to lose sight of Anna's slender figure. Her quick but careful steps led her to a more isolated part of the park, where dense trees formed a natural maze. It was then that Clara heard her speak, but her voice was too low to be clearly understood. She crept closer, and as she turned a bend in the path, she saw Anna talking to a woman. The woman's face was familiar to Clara, although she couldn't remember where she had seen her before. What struck her more, however, was the intensity of the exchange of glances between the two. There was something charged with tension in the air. Anna, visibly agitated, seemed to be asking something from the woman, but Clara couldn't hear clearly. She hid behind a bush, not daring to make a sound. What was this? Why was Anna talking to a woman in secret? And who was she? Clara stayed there, watching in silence until the conversation seemed to end. The woman moved away, and before disappearing into the trees, she looked directly at the spot where Clara was hidden. Her gaze was deep and penetrating, as if she knew exactly where Clara was. The feeling that something was wrong intensified. Clara knew Anna was involved in something darker than she had imagined. What was going on with her? Why didn't she want Clara to find her? And who was that mysterious woman? Clara wasted no time. She waited for the right moment, and as soon as the woman had moved far enough away, she ran after Anna. When she caught up with her, Anna was standing by an old wooden bench, as if waiting for something or someone. "Anna, wait!" Clara called out, this time with more firmness. No longer caring about the distance, Anna stopped immediately, but didn't turn around. The silence between them was heavy, as if the weight of all the past and their recent meeting was crushing the air around them. Clara was eager to understand what was happening. "Why did you run from me? What's going on, Anna? You're involved with someone, aren't you?" Clara asked, urgency in her voice. She couldn't hide from the truth anymore. Anna slowly turned, her face marked by pain and fear. There was something in her eyes that Clara had never imagined: distrust. As if she were afraid to tell anything, as if she couldn't trust anyone. "It's not what you think, Clara. I didn't want you to see this." Anna took a step back, slowly distancing herself from Clara. "The person I was talking to, she's not what you imagine. I can't talk about it right now." Clara was about to protest, but before she could say anything, Anna interrupted her. "Please, Clara, you don't understand. If you keep getting closer, you'll put your life at risk, and mine. You don't know who you're dealing with." These words hit her like a blow. Clara felt her stomach churn. Risk? What did Anna mean by that? Who was she trying to protect? And why couldn't she trust her? "I'm not leaving until I understand everything," Clara said firmly, her eyes fixed on Anna's. "I need to know what's going on, Anna. I need to know the truth. We're sisters, and you can't leave me alone in this." Anna remained silent for a moment, tension building in her body. Then, with a resigned sigh, she finally spoke. "I'll tell you, but not here, not now. I can't risk someone seeing us talking. Let's meet somewhere else. You'll follow me and you'll listen. But Clara, when you know the truth, you may never be the same." Clara didn't know what to expect, but she couldn't turn back. She had started this journey seeking answers, and now there was no way to escape. The truth was about to come to light, and with it a much bigger secret than Clara could ever have imagined. The meeting between Clara and Anna didn't happen where Clara had imagined. Instead of a public place, Anna led her through deserted streets and dimly lit alleys. Clara's heart was pounding, and an uncomfortable feeling that something was wrong started to grow inside her. The empty streets and the silence of the night only heightened the sense that danger was close. Clara could feel the weight of every step, and each turn she took increased her nervousness. Anna was ahead of her, walking quickly as if she were running from something or someone. Finally, they reached a small, abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. The place was dirty and dark, with broken windows and wooden doors that creaked in the wind. Clara hesitated, but Anna had already entered. With a sigh of resignation, Clara followed her. "Anna, what is all of this?" Clara asked, her voice tense. "Why are we here? Who was with you at the park?" Anna didn't answer immediately. She simply turned and shut the door behind Clara. The room was poorly lit, and the smell of mildew in the air was strong. "I know you want to understand everything, Clara," Anna finally said, her words heavy, as if they were coming out of her mouth with difficulty. "But you're not prepared for what you're about to hear. The truth about our family, about us, is much darker than you can imagine." Clara furrowed her brow, confused and anxious. She wanted to understand more than anything. But Anna's words only left her more unsettled. "What do you mean by dark?" Clara asked. "Who's chasing us? What are you hiding from me?" Anna took a step back, hesitant. Her face was pale, and her eyes carried a genuine fear. "You need to know the truth, Clara. But before anything else, you need to understand who our mother is. The woman you know. She's not who you think she is." Anna's words cracked the air like a whip. Clara stepped forward, her body tense, as if she could sense that something very big was about to be revealed. "What are you saying?" Clara couldn't understand. "Our mother? She's not who I think she is." Anna looked at her seriously. Her eyes were filled with deep sadness, as though she was about to pull Clara into a cruel reality. "I'm not the only one with secrets, Clara. Your mother, our biological mother, she was manipulated just like you were. You think her life was easy? She was forced to give up you and me, not because she wanted to, but because she was made to. She was threatened, and after you were adopted, the real danger appeared." Clara was in shock. Anna's words hit her like a punch to the stomach. She was trying to understand, but the truth seemed harder to digest with each passing second. Her mother, who had always been her hero, was not the woman she thought she was. Had she really been forced to give Clara and Anna up? "Who threatened our mother?" Clara asked, her voice trembling. "Who's behind this?" Anna closed her eyes for a moment, as if weighing her words. She stepped closer to Clara, whispering urgently, "It's not just one person, Clara. It's not just one threat. It's a network. And the person at the center of it, the one who orchestrated everything, is very close to us. They're inside our own house." Clara took a step back, surprised and dazed. Inside our own house? How could that be possible? Her stepmother? Clara couldn't believe it. But as Anna spoke, the pieces began to fit together, and a clearer picture started to form in her mind. "You're talking about my stepmother?" Clara asked, incredulous. "She's involved in this?" Anna nodded, her expression dark. "She's in up to her neck. But you can't trust anyone, Clara. They have allies inside your own home. And you have to be very careful from now on. I know what happened to our biological mother, but what you're about to find out could destroy everything you thought you knew about your life." Clara felt the world crumble around her. Her head spun with the information, but one thing was clear. The truth was closer than she imagined. Danger was lurking, and everything she knew could be a lie. "What do I do now?" Clara asked, desperate. "How can we stop all this?" Anna looked at her, determination shining in her eyes. "Now, Clara, you need to prepare for what's coming, and you won't do this alone. I'll be with you. Together, we can face this network and expose the truth, but be warned, no one will be safe. Not you, not me, not our mother." Clara didn't know what to think anymore. Anna's words echoed in her mind like an incessant drumbeat. Inside our own house. It was impossible to ignore the idea that her stepmother, the woman who had always been distant but never seemed like a threat, was involved in something so dark. Everything Clara believed in was about to be shattered, and she felt the weight of this truth suffocating her. The next morning arrived with a sense of oppression. Clara had barely slept, Anna's face always in front of her, a reminder of everything she still didn't know. The tension inside the house was growing. She had already suspected something was wrong, but now the pieces were falling into place in a terrifying way. Her father seemed distant as always, absorbed in his work, but something in his gaze had changed. When he looked at her, there was a fear she couldn't identify. He was worried, but not about her. It was as if he knew something and was trying to hide it, or worse, pretending not to know anything. Clara went to his office, determined to find out what was going on. But before she could open the door, she heard voices, low, whispered. And in the midst of those voices, she recognized her stepmother's. She was arguing with someone, clearly irritated, and the words that reached Clara's ears made her blood boil. "If you keep this up, she'll find everything out," her stepmother's voice exclaimed, loud and desperate. Clara hid behind the door, listening carefully. "We can't let her find out. We have to maintain control. You have to act fast, or it'll be too late." Clara felt her stomach churn. Who was with her? Who was talking to her stepmother? The voice responding was softer, more soothing, but no less threatening. "I know what I'm doing. She won't find out anything. The girl, she'll never know the truth. Don't worry." The shock hit Clara like a slap to the face. She recognized that voice. It was one of the house servants. But what did he have to do with all this? Clara was paralyzed, trying to piece it all together. What were her stepmother and this man plotting? When the door opened, Clara quickly moved away, but it was too late. Her stepmother appeared, her eyes wide when she saw her lying on the floor, trying to hide. She stared at her with a cold expression. "Clara, what are you doing here?" her stepmother asked, her tone quieter and more controlled than Clara had expected. Clara felt her anger rise within her, but she couldn't let herself be carried away. She knew this wasn't the right moment to confront her directly, but what she had just discovered was giving her strength. I was just listening," Clara replied, trying to disguise her tension, her voice calmer than she felt. "What was going on here? What were you and Mr. Jose talking about the girl?" Her stepmother approached calmly, but Clara noticed the stiffness in her body. She had become even more cautious, as if she knew she was being watched. She gave a cold smile. "You don't need to worry about that, Clara. It's adult business, not your concern." Clara swallowed hard. She didn't believe her stepmother's words. All she wanted was to know more, to shout that she wouldn't be fooled anymore. But for some reason, something made her hesitate. "Don't you dare speak about things you don't understand. What you heard, it's not for your ears. Now go to your room." Clara didn't move. The tension in the air was palpable. Then finally her stepmother spoke, her voice softer, almost a whisper. "I know you're trying to figure something out, but Clara, you'll never understand what's going on. All of this was done to protect you, so please stay away. Don't tamper with something you can't control." The words were like a bucket of cold water. Clara felt a chill run down her spine. Protect her. Was that what she was doing? Protecting Clara or protecting herself? Protecting everyone from a truth she didn't want to come to light? With her heart pounding, Clara did what any teenager would do when faced with a disturbing secret. She went to her room and slammed the door shut, but inside, her mind was racing 1,000 miles per hour. She could no longer trust anyone in that house. The truth was hidden there, and Clara was determined to uncover it. By late afternoon, Clara left the house with an excuse for her parents, saying she was going to the park for a walk. But she knew the park wouldn't be her destination this time. She was going to see Anna. Anna was the only person she could trust now, and she alone knew how close Clara was to discovering the true secret that surrounded her. Clara didn't waste any time. As she left the house, the air felt heavy, almost as if fate was watching her, waiting for the exact moment to reveal what she feared. The walk to the park seemed endless, each step more agonizing than the last. The conversation with her stepmother still echoed in her mind. To protect you. What did that mean? Clara knew it wouldn't be protection, but a prison of lies, and she no longer wanted to live with her eyes closed. She found Anna near the lake, sitting on a wooden bench, shoulders hunched as if the weight of the world was upon her. When Clara approached, Anna lifted her head, and her eyes reflected deep pain. "I knew you'd come," Anna said, her voice dark. She looked more tired, as if she were carrying an unbearable burden. Clara sat beside her, anxious but also afraid. There was something in Anna's eyes that made her uncomfortable. "Anna, my stepmother. She knows we're trying to find out the truth. She talked to me today. She knows something but won't tell me. She said she's trying to protect me, but I know that's not true. They're hiding something big, and I can't live without answers." Anna looked at her for a long moment, as if evaluating what to say next. Clara could see that the situation was becoming more difficult for both of them, but Anna was no longer in a position to hide anything. "You need to hear what I'm going to tell you, Clara. Now more than ever, you need to understand that what your mother did, what your stepmother did, wasn't out of jealousy or just out of malice. They were just trying to keep you and your sister safe." Clara felt a tightness in her chest. "My sister? You're talking about me and you, right?" Clara asked, bewildered. "Anna, what's going on? I need to know the truth." Anna looked at the lake, her eyes fixed on the water as if she were searching for an answer there. Then, with a heavy expression, she began to tell everything. "When I was adopted, our biological mother was forced to give up both you and me. She tried to save us, but she couldn't. Our biological family was being hunted. But the person who separated us wasn't just any enemy. It was someone from the innermost circle of our mother." Clara froze. Inside our mother's innermost circle. This was much deeper than she had imagined. Who? Who was it?" Clara asked, anxiety rising with every word. "Your father, Clara. He was involved. He knew everything. He had to make the decision to separate us to ensure our safety, or we would lose everything. But the worst part, is that now he's being manipulated by someone even more dangerous." The revelation hit Clara like a knife to the chest. Her father. How could he have done this? How could he have been involved in something so dirty? Clara was in shock, and the pain of being betrayed by the one person she trusted most was overwhelming. "No, it can't be. My father? He would never talk about something like this. He loves me," Clara exclaimed, her eyes welling up. But Anna's expression didn't change. "He was manipulated, not by the love he has for you, but by a thirst for power. What he did to protect his family was condemn ours. You need to know this, Clara. He can't be trusted. And your stepmother, she's in the same network. They're not just pieces in the game. They're all involved in the same plot. And you and I are just pawns." Clara felt as if she were about to collapse. Her father, the person she had always believed was her hero, was now part of the same scheme that had stolen her life, her story. There was no trust left, no safety. Everything was turning to ashes. "I need to do something," Clara said, the determination growing inside her despite her fear. "I need to find the truth." But before Clara could say anything else, a sound interrupted her, a knock on the wooden bench. A dark shadow appeared, and the silhouette of a familiar figure appeared before them. "It's time to end this, Clara." It was Jose, the house servant Clara had recognized earlier. He was standing there before them, with a malevolent smile on his face. There was no longer any trace of sympathy. Clara felt a chill run down her spine. "What are you doing here?" Clara asked, her voice now firm but her body on alert. "I'm just a messenger, Clara." Jose smiled, and the coldness in his eyes made it clear he was on a mission. "And if you want to know more about your family, I have something to show you. Something that will change everything you think you know about your mother, about everyone." Clara took a step back, adrenaline rushing through her body. It was now or never. Clara was frozen, her face pale in front of Jose's figure. The man who until now seemed like just a simple servant was now showing himself to be a true agent of the shadows. He was standing there, in front of them, with a smile that revealed the pleasure he took in controlling the situation. And Clara once again felt small. "What do you mean by that, Jose?" she asked, trying to hide the panic in her voice. She looked at Anna, who was equally tense, but, unlike Clara, seemed calmer in the presence of the man. Jose took a step forward, his smile widening. He seemed to enjoy the power game he was playing. "Do you want to know the truth, Clara? Are you ready to face what has been hidden from you?" he said, his voice laden with irony. "Because what I'm about to show you, dear, will turn your life upside down." Clara felt a chill run down her spine. The truth. What could be more devastating than what she had already discovered? Her father involved in a game of manipulation, her stepmother, and that mysterious servant. What else could he reveal? Jose, sensing the tension, moved closer, as if he wanted each word to hit harder. He crouched down in front of Clara, almost paternal in his manner. "You were raised inside a lie, Clara. Your mother, your stepmother, your father, they all have blood on their hands." He paused dramatically, as though savoring Clara's suffering. "I know more than you can imagine. But to understand, I'll need to take you to the place where it all started. There you'll see the key piece that explains everything." Clara looked at Anna, who seemed to grasp the gravity of the situation, but didn't show any surprise. Clara had no idea there were still more layers to this story, more secrets that no one had ever told her. She didn't know if she should trust Jose, but something in his eyes made her believe he was being honest, though his methods were undoubtedly dark. "Where do you want to take me?" Clara asked, her voice lower, hesitant. Jose smiled, as if it were obvious. "To the place where the pact was made, where it all began, the hiding place of your true story. Come with me, and you'll see with your own eyes." Without giving time for more questions, Jose turned and began walking toward a secluded part of the park, near a small forest Clara had never been to. The sound of his footsteps echoed in the quiet afternoon, and with each step, Clara's heart beat faster, the feeling that something dark was about to be revealed growing stronger. Anna, still silent, followed Clara. There was no time for choices anymore. If Clara wanted to understand the whole truth, she would have to face whatever was coming. When they reached the spot, a small, old, isolated cottage appeared before them. The building, covered in moss, seemed to have been forgotten by time. The windows were dirty, and the doors were partially open, as though no one had lived there for decades. It was a place no one would dare enter. But as Clara looked at the cottage, she felt that this building was the heart of everything she had been searching for. Jose turned to Clara and Anna, his smile gone. He now looked serious, almost solemn. "This is where it all began, where your mother's secret and your story intertwine with everyone you know." He took a deep breath before giving one last warning. "What you'll see here cannot be told to anyone else. This is between the three of us, only." Without hesitation, Jose pushed open the door of the cottage, which creaked loudly. Clara stepped inside behind him, followed by Anna, and as soon as they entered, the cold, heavy air enveloped them. The walls were covered in old papers and portraits, all faded by time. The house was full of forgotten objects, but what stood out most was a table in the center of the room, covered with old candles and a large book, its pages seeming to have been touched by nervous hands. Jose walked straight to the book, opening it reverently. Clara and Anna watched him, both tense, unsure of what to expect. "What is this?" Clara asked, her voice nearly faltering. Jose looked at them, his eyes now cold and calculating. "This book contains the pact your mother made, Clara. The pact that separated you from your sister and set you on a path no one ever imagined. You and Anna. Your lives were manipulated from the start." He turned the pages of the book until he stopped at an illustration. The drawing showed two children, twins with identical faces, but one of them was marked with a red cross and the other with a golden seal. "This is the contract. Here is your name, Clara, and Anna's name. But what's most terrifying is what it says." Jose pointed to the words written in ancient Latin. Clara stepped closer and read aloud, softly. What was there? "The choice has been made. One sister will be raised in the light, and the other will be left in the shadow. The separation is irrevocable. The truth will be eternal, but its cost will be great." Clara swallowed hard. "The choice?" Jose looked at her with an enigmatic smile. "Now you know. What comes next will change everything." Clara was in shock. The book before her seemed to contain her entire life, written in ancient, frightening words. Each page turned seemed to reveal more and more about the secret she and Anna were trying to uncover. "The separation is irrevocable." That phrase echoed in her mind like a prison sentence that had bound them their whole lives. She looked at Anna, who was pale, but her eyes showed fierce determination. Both were united in the pain of knowing that their lives had been manipulated, but also by the desire to finally understand what had really happened. Jose, sensing the weight of the revelation, closed the book with a snap, interrupting the silence that had settled in the air. The truth, Clara, is that your biological mother made a deal to save you. She knew that if you and Anna stayed together, something far worse could happen, so she made the sacrifice of separating you, knowing that your survival depended on it. But she also knew that one day the truth would come to light. And you, Clara, were chosen to uncover it all, Jose said, his voice now devoid of the irony it had held before. He seemed serious. Clara couldn't process everything that was being said, but deep down, she felt she was closer to understanding the reason for it all. What had they done to her and Anna? Why separate two sisters, and what did that mean for their future? "And what else is written in this book?" Anna asked, her voice firm but with a hint of nervousness. She wanted to know if there was something even more dangerous, something that could affect them now. Jose looked at them, and for a moment, silence reigned in the room. He seemed to be weighing whether or not to reveal the full truth. The book contains the end of the story, but also the key to the future. If you decide that the separation must end, it will require more than just willpower. It will take breaking the cycle, destroying the pact, but there's a price to be paid. The cost will be higher than you imagine. Clara looked at him, fear growing inside her. The price to be paid. She and Anna were willing to do anything, but what more would they have to sacrifice to find peace? Anna, who had been silent until now, stepped forward, looking directly at Jose. "What do you mean by price?" Anna asked, surprisingly calm. She was so tired of riddles. Jose took a deep breath before answering. The pact was made, but never completed. It demands something in return, and that you cannot avoid. Someone will have to pay for everything that has been done, and the one who pays will be the one most vulnerable. Clara felt the pressure on her chest. She knew what that meant, but didn't want to believe it. Who would be responsible? We won't let this separate us," Clara said firmly, looking at Anna. Anna looked at her with a sad expression, but full of determination. "No, Clara. What we're facing is much bigger than just the two of us. You've already noticed, haven't you? The person who made the pact with us is still behind all of this." Clara's mind raced to her father, to the stepmother. They were involved in this, she was sure of it. But there was more. Jose wasn't just talking about a distant past, he was talking about their future. The tension in the air was palpable, and with every second, Clara felt she was getting closer to understanding what was happening. But at the same time, she felt that the truth could be more dangerous than she imagined. Jose then gave the final warning. "You need to decide what you're going to do. The separation can be undone, but someone will have to pay the price for it. Will it be you two or someone from outside? The fate is in your hands. Time is running out." With those words, Jose turned and left the cottage, leaving Clara and Anna alone, in an environment charged with mystery and threat. Their future now depended on an impossible choice. Clara looked at Anna, the expression on her face reflecting the same doubt and fear she was feeling. What would they do? How could they break the pact without causing more harm? "Let's end this once and for all, Anna," Clara said, feeling the courage return even though fear still lingered. Anna nodded, her eyes fixed on the door of the cottage, as if the path ahead was the only one left. "Yes, let's uncover the truth and destroy it." As the two sisters stepped out of the cottage, they didn't know what the future held for them, but one thing was certain: the truth, as painful as it was, could no longer be hidden. After a journey full of twists and turns, Clara and Anna finally unraveled the mysteries surrounding their lives, facing not only the secret of their separation, but also the true enemies behind it all. The choice to dismantle the pact will have consequences, but together they have the strength to face any challenge with hope for a more just and true future. And so, we reach the end of this incredible journey full of mysteries and revelations. Clara and Anna have finally discovered the whole truth about the pact that separated their lives, but as you've seen, their path is still far from easy. Now they face a great dilemma: break the pact and face the consequences, or continue living with the secrets others tried to hide from them. What do you think they should do? Do you think the price they have to pay will be worth it? Leave your opinion in the comments below. We want to know what you think of this difficult choice. If you enjoyed the story and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you won't miss any new content. We've got many more exciting stories and surprising twists coming your way. Now, I want to know from you, what was the most surprising moment of the story for you? Was it the revelation of the pact, or perhaps the discovery that Clara and Anna are sisters? Comment below and let's continue this conversation in the comments. I love hearing your thoughts. See you in the next video, where more mysteries and twists await us.